The CDC tonight says Europe is the new epicenter of the epidemic, with 70% of new cases originating here, and countries are falling like dominoes. One shutting down after another. Ireland reporting its first coronavirus death, now closing schools. The Irish Prime Minister today with President Trump.
We need to do this for a couple of weeks to make sure the virus doesn't spread.
In Italy, the death toll rising over 1,000. Officials already banning most public gatherings and ordering a 3 feet separation in public. NBC's Matt.
The crisis has not yet peaked in Italy, but in Lombardy, frontline healthcare is already on its knees. The laundry room of this hospital is being used to treat patients. Staff working 18-hour shifts, now treating their own colleagues too. A surgeon in Bergamo updated us on the desperate situation.
A progressively increasing number of nurses and doctors get sick and stay at home. Some of them are hospitalized too, and some of them are in the ICU too.
And what would you say to your colleagues in Europe?
To get prepared to shortage of things they would never think could get short of. For example, oxygen. And personal protection devices are stolen. We have to face these problems that we could never imagine before.
Before the quarantine, the fever. As France inched towards lockdown, supermarkets became barometers of the nation's fear. The government had complained that people were ignoring the threat of coronavirus, but attitudes here are changing.
I'm scared. I've got 3 kids. I'm here to buy the basics. I'm afraid for myself and for my children.
Last night, President Macron announced a general confinement of France's population from midday today.
Dès demain, midi, et pour 15 jours au moins.
For at least the next 15 days, our movements will be seriously reduced. It means that outside gatherings or meeting friends or family won't be permitted. Going for a walk, meeting friends in the park or in the street won't be possible. All infractions to these rules will be punished.
1 week after their coronavirus diagnosis, Tom Hanks, along with wife Rita Wilson, are updating fans on their road to recovery with Hanks's signature sense of humor. Good news, the symptoms are much the same, he writes. Bad news, my wife Rita Wilson has won 6 straight hands of gin rummy and leads by 201 points. The couple under quarantine at a rental home in Australia after spending several days in the hospital.
It's been a mad 24 hours, as you can probably guess.
British actor Idris Elba also checking in with fans after revealing his coronavirus diagnosis Monday.
Still don't have any symptoms, checking my fever twice a day, and feel good, feel okay.
While the 47-year-old says he's trying to stay positive, he admits he's concerned.
I'm worried about, my having asthma and how that could make things really complicated for me.
Tonight, 345 more people dead in Italy in the last 24 hours. The total now over 2,500. The health system buckling under the onslaught. Patients contained, although the virus is not. Families on lockdown. The dead are buried without them. Tonight, one glimmer of hope. Cases in Italy's original red zone down slightly. But back in America, concern over what's playing out in Italy. And they have more doctors and hospital beds per person than in the US. David, with America's top expert on infectious disease, Anthony Fauci.
Doctor, can you assure the American people that what they've witnessed in those images from Italy and from those hospitals won't happen here?
You know, David, I'm always trying to be as cold and honest. I don't want to scare anybody. There's no guarantee of anything.
That's why Fauci says Americans have to limit their exposure and public activities to slow down the virus so it doesn't hit with the same speed as Italy, and so US hospitals can keep up with demand for emergency care.
Basketball superstar Kevin Durant becoming the latest celebrity to confirm he has tested positive. Telling a reporter he feels fine, adding, "Everyone be careful, take care of yourself, and quarantine. We're going to get through this." Other stars are doing what they can to keep spirits up and help those in need. John Legend with wife Chrissy Teigen and daughter Luna performing a live concert on Instagram.
Like all the other unicorns.
Reese Witherspoon and Jennifer Garner among the celebrities reading children's books on Instagram for kids stuck at home.
Welcome to The Tonight Show. I'm so excited to be doing the show from my panic room, I mean living room.
Jimmy Fallon providing some comedic relief in the first episode of the new at-home version of The Tonight Show, posted on the show's YouTube page. Hollywood standing together, at least virtually, hoping to let everyone else know they're not alone.
Europe has closed its external borders. Internal ones are also shutting. Traffic jams on the German-Polish border are already huge.
The traffic jam on the A12 is 40 kilometers long. It's catastrophic. Polish trucks are standing in 3 rows. Unbelievable.
This is the crossing between Austria and Hungary, jammed with EU citizens trying to get to their home countries. Thousands are stranded outside the Union. In Berlin, Angela Merkel gave a rare address to the nation, telling the German people this is an historic challenge.
It is serious. Take it seriously. Not since German reunification, no, not since World War II has there been such a challenge to our country that so much relies on our universal solidarity.
In the UK, the government is ramping up its measures after a slow start. Schools will be shut from Friday afternoon as a further 33 deaths were announced.
So looking at the curve of the disease and looking at where we are now, we think now that we must apply downward pressure, further downward pressure on that upward curve by closing the schools. So I can announce today, and Gavin Williamson is making a statement now in the House of Commons, that after schools shut their gates from Friday afternoon, they will remain closed for most pupils, for the vast majority of pupils, until further notice.
In Italy, Europe's worst-hit country, another 475 people died, the country's worst daily toll, despite an extensive lockdown. From a hospital in the worst-affected Italian region of Lombardy, video has emerged from the main ICU unit. It has 80 beds. They are always full.
Every day right now, every day we face the same emergency, and every day we wait for the next day to be better in terms of numbers. This hasn't happened yet, but we really need this to happen soon.
In the Spanish capital, there was a pot-banging protest calling for the controversial former king, Juan Carlos, to donate money to the health service. This year's Eurovision Song Contest is now postponed, and the UK's outdoor music festival at Glastonbury cancelled on its 50th anniversary, the latest victims in the continent's cultural and sporting shutdown. Simon McGregor.
Scientists have discovered a galaxy with a supermassive black hole. It's known as a blazer. It's thought to be the oldest and most distant discovery of its type.
18 billion years old, but full of life. Powered by an extremely bright black hole, a blazer is sending radio signals in our direction. What exactly is a blazer? In the words of science writer Terry Devitt, blazers, a type of galaxy powered by a ginormous black hole and among the brightest, most energetic objects in the sky, are not unfamiliar to science.
Research dives in the notion that the Earth, the galaxy, and all the surrounding galaxies are actually enclosed in a bubble. What an interesting bubble it is these days. But do you think there's some merit to this?
Scientists are looking into the rate of expansion. And while there are many unanswered questions, researchers point to a new theory which may mean our universe is confined in a bubble-like element. Scientists have been trying to better understand the expansion rate of our cosmic borders. This rate, known as the Hubble constant, is believed to be driven by dark matter and energy. Some speculate we are living in a local Hubble bubble, which is believed to be less dense than the rest of the universe.
In the sky are not unfamiliar to science. Many thousands of them have been identified. They belong to a class of galaxies known as active galactic nuclei, or AGNs, a reference to the supermassive black holes that power them. What makes blazers special is that they are pointed directly at us, here on Earth. This makes them some of the brightest objects in the sky from our point of view. As scientists describe it, the blazer in question is radio loud, meaning it is unbelievably bright even from afar. And when we say far, we mean far. The blazer is at the edge of the universe, some 13 billion light years away. Name collected shows that the black hole at the heart of this blazer is a shocking 1 billion times larger than our sun. While much of the findings are sensational, a central point of this discovery is that now, for the first time ever, scientists can quantify the number of AGN with similar properties, even if they are pointed elsewhere and are out of our view. The team believes more blazars will be found in the future as new generations of hypersensitive telescopes emerge.